观众们、小姐、大波浪、各位听啊 ，Greeting, honorable lady. Piccolo, Pepsi Bar, 吹喊忙。
Well, it's kind of funny. The way I found my way in the record business was it started with my parents not being able to afford summer camp. And instead of sending me to summer camp, my dad, when I was 14, sent me on the road with a band called with an artist by the name of Captain Sky. Captain Sky was an artist on a local label here, AVI. And he was managed by a man named Eddie Thomas, who was Curtis Mayfield's partner in Kurt Tom Records. I went on the road with Daryl and Captain Sky as their pyrotechnician. I was 14 years old. And while on the road, I really came to enjoy, all of those aspects of being on the road. It's like an adventure every day. And I had my responsibilities as pyrotechnician, but whenever I wasn't, setting up or breaking down, I was right there next to Gary Lewizzo's rig, and he was the keyboard player, and he had a Fender Rhodes, and he had a Mini Moog, and an ARP Odyssey, and I would just be sitting there playing with the electronic instruments, saying, wow, if you had I love the sound of those instruments, and I said, if you had a whole band that just played these instruments, that would be great. Forget the bass player, he always picks on me. Forget the guitar player. I didn't like the way he was, his parts were played. But if there was a band of all synthesizer players, that would be the best. And I kind of carried that forward. I came back from summer camp and I got a job as an Andy Frayne usher, and I was taking people to their seats at baseball games and concerts. I saw Kiss at the stadium. That was great. I saw Michael Jackson off the wall. That was great. I was actually present at the Sox Park riot.
Really?
Yes. Steve Dahl's Disco Demolition. I was there. But that's another story.
I was going to say, we can go back to that later.
That's another story. But I saved money to buy my first synthesizer, and it was a Moog Prodigy. And with that being what it is, I was on my way at that point. I started, I was in my room every day after school, listening to records and trying to copy sounds that I liked. And maybe a year or so later, I got a 4-track cassette deck, and I was able to overdub. And for my 16th birthday, my dad, instead of getting me a car, I decided I wanted studio time. And I went in the studio with a few friends, and we made a record called Fast Cars. And it just described a bunch of cars, like cars, or what I thought about cars, or what I envisioned they would be. I'd never actually seen a Ferrari, but like I said it on my record. And I made this tape, and my dad taught me the record-making process. And from that, we were pretty much off and running. Me and my friends, we started making records whenever we could. And the record that I made in partnership with Jesse Saunders is a record called On and On. And I guess they say that's the first house music record.